Welcome back, guys. What's going on, Pops?
Oh boy. Peace and love, everybody. Salam alaikum, son. Happy birthday. Peaceful born day. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Oh, thank you, Pops. I appreciate you. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of TwoTreys podcast. TwoTreys. With me, as always, is Pop Trey, and I'm Son Trey. And Pops, if you just want to let them know real quick while we do this.
By all means, yes, sir. Basically, this is our podcast between the father and the son to bridge that gap between all fathers and all sons. To bridge the gap between the youth and the elders, bring them together, share and bounce off knowledge and wisdom and understanding with each other, and to also bridge the gap between the truth and the falsehoods, and eventually overcome those falsehoods with the truth, and bringing the community of Black people together stronger. That's our purpose. That's our mission. That's our goal. No drama, only positivity.
Sounds beautiful to me, Pops.
Absolutely.
All right, as always, and what we've been doing on our podcast is having our honorable mention.
Yep.
So I'll go ahead and pull up the picture, and today I will be the one reading off the bio. But let me go ahead and pull up the picture for us.
All right.
So today for our honorable mention, guys, we have Zora Neale Hurston. Zora Neale Hurston.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, beautiful.
Zora Neale Hurston became a fixture of New York City's Harlem Renaissance due to her novels like Their Eyes Were Watching God and shorter works like Sweat. She was also an outstanding folklorist and an anthropologist who recorded cultural history, as illustrated by her Mules and Men. Hurston died in poverty in 1960, before a revival of interest led to posthumous recognition of her accomplishments. Absolutely. Her early life, Hurston was born on January 7, 1891 in Nebraska, Alabama. Her birthplace has been the subject of some debate since Hurston herself wrote in her autobiography that she was born in Eatonville, Florida. However, according to many other sources, she took some creative license with that fact. She probably had no memories of Notasulga, having moved to Florida as a toddler. Hurston was also known to adjust her birth year from time to time as well. Her birthday, according to Zora Neale Hurston, A Life in Letters, 1996, may not be January 7th, but January 15th. Hurston was the daughter of two formerly enslaved people. Her father, John Hurston, was a pastor, and he moved the family to Florida when Hurston was very young. Following the death of her mother, Lucy Ann Hurston, in 1904, and her father's subsequent remarriage, Hurston lived with an assortment of family members for the next few years. To support herself and finance her efforts to get an education, Hurston worked on a variety of jobs, including as a maid for an actress in the touring Gilbert and Sullivan Group. 1920, Hurston earned an associate degree from Howard University, having published one of her earliest works in the university's newspaper. Harlem Renaissance. Hurston moved to New York City's Harlem neighborhood in the 1920s. She became a fixture in the area's thriving art scene, with her apartment reportedly becoming a popular spot for social gatherings. Hurston befriended the likes of Langston Hughes and Colteen Cullen, among several others, with whom she launched a short-lived literary magazine called Fire. Along with her literary interests, Hurston landed a scholarship to Barnard College, where she pursued the subject of anthropology and studied with Franz Boas.
Yes.
Last part, Their Eyes Were Watching God. Very famous book by her. Upon receiving the Guggenheim Fellowship, Hurston traveled to Haiti and wrote that would become her most famous work, Their Eyes Were Watching God, in 1937. The novel tells the story of Jannie Mae Crawford, who learns the value of self-reliance through multiple marriages and tragedy. Although highly acclaimed today, the book drew its share of criticism at the time, particularly from leading men in African-American literary circles. Author Richard Wright, for one, decried Hurston's style as minstrel technique, designed to appeal to white audiences. In 1942, she published her autobiography, Dust Tracks on the Road, a personal work that was well received by critics. That is Zora Neale Hurston. And I'm thankful to have, open up with her because of who our special guest is for today. Pops, you excited, man?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Special is an understatement, but well-deserved respect. Like I said, like we said on the last two previous lives, she has not been given her justice as far as being a world. Correction. She is worldly known, but more known in America, more known in the Black community, more known with Black women, particularly because she's a Black woman.
Yes, sir.
Creator, owner, Sophia Stewart, creator, owner of the Matrix and Terminator franchises.
Yes, sir. So we have her here today as our special
going.
guest. And we'll go ahead and patch her in. Sophia Stewart, welcome to TwoTreys podcast.
Yeah, hi. How you guys doing? I'm having a little trouble. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay.
Well,
you're okay.
I don't know. It just cut off. I don't know what happened.
That's all right.
No, you're fine. We were just doing the beginning of the show, so you made it at the perfect timing.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, how you guys doing? And thank you guys for having me on. This is wonderful. Thank you.
No,
I'm doing great. Pops, how you feeling?
I'm excited.
I'm feeling excellent. Actually, excellent. Cannot complain.
You look great.
Everything is good.
Everything is well over here. We just want to salute you. First, salute you. We have your books.
Love it. Yeah, that is the fourth installment.
I got mine as well.
Yeah, that is the fourth installment. Because let me tell people, that movie y'all saw, Resurrection Regurgitation, is nothing but a documentary.
Yes.
They could not film the fourth installment because the FBI told them they are not allowed to counterfeit anymore. So you will not see any more Terminators and no more Matrix films.
Wow.
That's
you heard
right.
it first, people. You heard it first. Wow.
Yeah, you guys know that was a documentary. Come on, that is not the fourth installment. You're holding the fourth installment. Hold it up again, the book.
Yes, ma'am. We both have it.
Fourth installment.
We have it for you.
Yeah, and it's been out since 2010, read around the whole globe. Because for all the big Matrix fans and Terminator fans, they want the next, they want the next shot in the arm of the Matrix and Terminator.
Right.
And that's it.
That's it.
And so everybody was like, well, what was that regurgitation, resurrection, resuscitation all about?
Right.
And they was just trying to make some money off of you guys on a documentary. And they were just too scared to tell y'all it was a documentary.
Wow.
But if you go back and you look at it and refresh your mind, well, yeah, that's a documentary.
It is. It was. It really gave you, it gave the viewers more clips of the first Matrix.
Exactly, like a documentary does. It refers back to the first original work.
Right.
That's original work on the screen. And what you're holding on the fourth installment is the next original work. Yes, that. They offered me $30 million for the shooting script. Now, I formatted that in a play form, which some people are calling a script, but it's formatted like a play, like a playwright would do. Right. And I put it in book form. But the shooting script is a full script that any camera people can take and start shooting the fourth installment.
Wow.
And that is, I should have brought it with me so you guys can take a look at it. Now, that shooting script is worth $30 million to $50 million.
Whoa.
Because it's going to make billions of dollars.
I mean,
now they lost over $100 million on that documentary because if they had told people it was going to be a documentary, they could have adjusted their perception of it.
Right.
But to lie to people and to make people create an illusion that you're bringing out the fourth installment when the fourth installment has been already out for 12 years since 2010 and read globally.
Right.
Almost 12 years with this year, 11 years, 11 and a half years.
Wow.
So that's what they should have done. Come on.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
and-
Sophia Stewart, we have some questions for you. And I want my pops to take it off. Starting off with those questions, just because he has first. He has all three of your books. I've only been able to read the fourth one. I finished that in the beginning of the week. Let me just say, beautiful piece. This is a continuation of the first three.
You have number one.
That's
two
art.
And three, I
That's
had to make
absolutely
it into
beautiful.
a dream. I had to make 2 and 3 a dream, like it never happened. Neo and Trinity and Morpheus never died. Come on, you know what I'm saying? That is so irrational, you know.
So let's get it straight. So you're saying Matrix 2 and 3 were not your creation? Or
No, it's not that. They adapted it from my copyrighted script and book.
Gotcha.
The book came first, copyrighted script and book.
Right.
81, 83, and 84 are my copyrights. The 84 copyright is February the 6th. Now, Terminator did not come out until October the 26th, 1984. Matrix did not come out until March the 31st, 1999.
Right.
So this copyrighted script and book was already out and published, and already people buying and getting my book. And they had already written a news article that Sophia Stewart is going to come out with the first Black science fiction with Black leadership role, the first of its kind. No one had ever seen any movie like this. And this is the third eye, Matrix and Terminator.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
the third eye is the eye of God, because we have two eyes here on earth. The Matrix, the woman's womb, there you go. The Matrix womb, the portal to come through this dimension where the Terminator is coming through naked without shame.
Right.
But he's a machine, so he has no shame. And where Kyle Reese is coming in and hurry up putting on clothes, where they're time traveling from the future, because the Terminator is the prequels or the beginning of the epic story. It's past, present, and future time travel,
Okay.
where the Terminator goes right into the Matrix, which is the future.
Right.
Because what I wrote was the second coming of the Christ consciousness, the evolutions of consciousness, man waking up, man versus the machines. In other words, God's children versus man's children, the machines, which they're called lab rats, are made in the laboratory, or they're made on the assembly lines. In other words, the drones, the artificial inseminated babies, test tube babies, petri dish babies, gender benders, gender manipulated babies, they're nothing but one cell amoebas. They're living organisms, but they cannot reproduce. So they have a beginning and an end. But everything God has, there is just a beginning. It has no end. It continues.
Absolutely.
It comes around again and again and again. Because it's the atom, atom, not the Adama, the atom that has the cycle of life that is always, as soon as someone is dying, someone is being born. As soon as someone is being born, someone is dying. But the cycle of life is continuation. But there is no life with clones and drones and all of these manipulated hybrids in the laboratory. This goes all the way back to ancient Egypt, or what we're going to call, since it didn't have that name, it was called the motherland or Eden.
Teach.
Because there is no such thing as Africa for the continent. That is a white man's name. If you would notice here that people who have lived before us and have done something or not done something, or done something negative or positive, their names are named after buildings and hospitals and streets and or on artifacts and blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So the word Africanus was a man that supposedly had conquered Hannibal, which we know is a lie. Of course, that's a lie.
Right.
And if you look at a map 1,000 years ago, that land that your continent that you're calling Africa was not called any Africa. And if you look at the name Africa, African American, there's no such thing as an African American. Before that, it was called Afro American. You were named after your hair, like your son. They
Yes.
would have called him an Afro American.
Right. Indeed.
You know, you would have been an Afro American. So there's no
Indeed.
such thing as Afro American. It started out during the period of sex trafficking and what they're calling the slave trade was kidnapping.
Right.
There was no slave trade. That's all a lie, illusion. There were people there. You can find right now, West Point, those same people that supposed to have participated in the war between the North and the South. There were black West Point soldiers
Wow. Okay.
that went to school with these people.
Right.
The ones I'm talking about, that, you know, the Confederacy people and Robert E. Lee and all of them.
Right.
There
right.
are West Point, because I've been up to West Point.
Mhm.
I'm a New Yorker, and we used to go up there for dances and stuff.
Shout out New York.
You know?
Yes,
Yeah.
Word.
So
From Long Island.
I don't know why this lie, but they started off with calling people, indigenous people, to the land. They start calling them niggers and Negroes and colored man and colored person.
Right.
And then it went on to
Minority.
the Afro-American, then African-American, and who knows what it's going to be in the next 50 years. It's going to be something else.
Well, it wouldn't be, Sister Sophia, if we take control of our own destiny.
Well, yeah, but you first have to recognize that you were enslaved with the lie, that your
Right.
bodies were never enslaved, but your minds were enslaved with the lie, and that's worse than your body being in bondage.
Yes.
But
Indeed.
if you can slave a man's mind, then that man will be your slave, and you can do anything you want with him.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
think about that.
Right. You could take control of the mind. You take control of the body automatically. The body can't
Exactly.
move without the mind thinking of it to move. So in motion, we call that motion. You know.
Yeah, and a lot of people need to know that, you know.
Absolutely.
That's all they've been doing is just telling people lies on top of lies. And the Matrix actually wake you up out of the lies and the ignorance.
Yes.
Because this mythology goes all the way back to Eden, or what you call Kemet,
Right.
or ancient Egypt, what they're calling Egypt now. You look at the hieroglyphics and you see the jackal-headed man called Anubis.
Mm.
And then you look at the Greek mythology and the Roman mythology, then you see Hercules, and then you see Medusa with the lady with the snakes on her head. Then you see Pegasus, a horse that's, you know, had sex with an angel,
Right.
got wings. And then there's a horse with a horn, unicorn in the center of his head, or the giants,
Mm.
or Cyclops with one eye. You know, all of these, you know, what you call freaks.
Right. Okay.
Because they're freaks of nature. And one of the freaks of nature that man has created, and you guys don't think about this, but it cannot reproduce. And that's a mule, where man has made a hybrid out of the mule. He's taken a horse that's big, but he's weak, and he's taken a donkey that's little, but he's strong.
Right.
And he's crossbred them, made hybrids out, and you got a mule. You got a mule that's as big as a horse, but as strong as a donkey, but he can't reproduce.
Is
He's a
this
lab rat.
Is this the example of you refer to as in the third eye? I'm referring to. There's a title in here called Soulless.
Yes.
Is this?
Well, do you know what? Yeah, soulless means that you have no seed.
No seed.
Because
Okay.
everything that
Right.
God created has a beginning and a continuation called an atom or a seed.
Right.
And that was why man and woman were supposed to come together to produce, because woman would have the eggs and man would have the seed.
Mm.
And the seed would get inside of the egg
Yep.
And then we would have nothing but continuations of babies on top of babies on top of babies. And this cycle would continue forever. That's why girl and boys meet and fall in love, get married, and they have babies
Yes.
to replenish and repopulate the earth.
Yes, indeed.
Because everything is perfectly balanced and it doesn't need any help from man at all. I don't even know why man is lying. If you go into the Bible, Ecclesiastic, God says there's a time for everything and that the time was set. That the moment you come here, you are given a number, and when you leave out of here, you're giving a number by God. So if you want to stay here, you need to ask God. It has nothing to do with what man is doing. Man think he's doing something, but he's not doing anything but demising his own end. He is reeking of karma, and he has to pay that karma. You know, either you got a debt or you got a credit here, and there's nothing else going on.
Indeed.
Yeah, so, people need to know the truth.
Absolutely. And people like yourself have put these truths in books. But you know what they say? Black people don't read.
Well, the books have become movies, and that had a lot to do with God.
Right.
Because what happened was that when they saw the book, I didn't write the book religiously or any of that with dogma. It was done in science fiction form, but the hidden spirituality, the hidden, metaphysics and esoterical and ancient knowledge is all in the work.
Right.
And our minds are geared by what is perceived here, not what is perceived by our eyes. You can fool the eyes, like I just told you guys. When you eat a seedless grape or a seedless watermelon, you're eating a living organism, but you're not eating a watermelon or an apple that God has created, because everything that God has created on this earth has a seed to continue. And everything that man has created is seedless and soulless. So when the dogs and the cats and the animals perceive this one organism, one amoeba, one cell amoeba, they know it's disgusting and they will not touch it. Wow. They know that it doesn't come from the dirt of the earth where they came from, because the insects, the animals, the vegetables, the plants, except for what man has tampered with, has come from the soil of the dirt of the earth.
Absolutely.
Now, man has created his own hybrids of things here, which are horrible. Men have been mated with pigs, what you call those pig valves, and won't work in certain people because it will not work in people whose DNA does not have pig in it, swine in it. And there are men that have been mated with monkeys. It's called the Reyes bloodline. The oldest bloodline, the Neanderthals, that go way back, where they were mating with the beast and the angels that failed here, a third of them, which people call the Elohims, or they call them, Nephilims or whatever. They have all kinds of names that are old names, but it's still the same game. Same old game, different names, different strokes for different folks.
Indeed. So I'm hearing that you are really talking about artificial insemination.
Of course, yes, and I'm well versed in it because I studied to be a lawyer and a doctor, and I am definitely a lawyer. I used to work for a Beverly Hills law firm, so I'm well versed in law. I beat several law firms. In fact, one law firm had 100 lawyers, and they could not beat me because I'm a prodigy. And you guys were asking if I was one of those indigo kids. Yes, I'm definitely one of those indigo kids. My father was one.
I asked you that.
Yes. Well, I was listening to you guys talking and everything, and I was just totally amazed at some of your knowledge. And so, I'm a prodigy. I didn't have to do any high school. I took the New York Regents, went into college, got the degree. They told me I could get my master's at the same time that I get my bachelor's. City University of New York and USC are my schools.
Okay,
so I'm a Trojan also. Yes.
Absolutely. So we want to acknowledge, and we want to because people don't know who you are, Sister Sophia.
Well,
that's
they
a
should
shame.
know. Well, listen, they should know who I am. I wanted to let you guys know that. I've done 4,500 interviews, and a majority of them are mainstream. But you would have to go into the archives because the internet is nothing but a communications distribution platform. So they hide everything on the internet. You're not going to get anything. What they're talking about when they say you don't read, they're talking about you don't research. And go into the archives and go to the libraries and where they have all the old books. That's where the real knowledge is, reading the old books that was created from 77 on to the early parts of times.
Yeah, okay.
Everything that are from 77 on to our particular time, it has been adulterated if it is not a first edition book. This is why all people get first edition books, because when you get a first edition book, you're getting unadulterated truth from that author, from that creator.
Right.
But when the publishing companies get hold of these people's work and they start making 10 printings or 16 printings or 100 printings, they keep further and further cutting away the truth. And when you get those books, you're not reading anything.
Right.
You're getting more confused than any, what they really wanted.
Right.
So in order to gain knowledge, you have to read first edition books. That is a must. Because when you read the first edition of any author's work, you're getting that author's pure work and its purity and its true form of purity.
Yes, ma'am. And we, because we are ignorant, some of us are ignorant still.
Well, ignorance is not a bad word. Let me explain ignorance. Look at the word ignorance. You can see the spelling. It has ignore in it.
Yes.
Because people are just simply ignoring facts and truth that they should already know.
Absolutely.
And that's why they call it ignorance, because you're just ignoring.
Right.
And we have a lot of people here that are sheepish, and they just totally ignore the truth. They rather mimic the sheep. They're sheepish. Like if one sheep is 1,000 sheep and one sheep start crying, all 1,000 of the sheep are going to start crying exactly the way the one sheep is crying. They're going to mimic him. Right. And that's all we have. We have 7 billion people here on earth, but we have a lot of people mimicking. And once they start mimicking, the trolls start putting out these lies, ignorance, and confusion. The rest of the sheep, instead of investigating, instead of going and researching, going and digging for the truth, they just all mimic, thinking they're saying something intelligent when they're not.
Right. So,
Miss Sophia Stewart, I just sorry, Pops. Just a real quick question. I'm just amazed by your body of art. And one interest that no, thank you. It's so amazing how you've been able to take science, real science, and then some futuristic science that isn't here yet, old science that has been forgotten and is now looked at as pseudoscience, and you've been able to blend it all together in a way that is understandable at the same time.
Yes.
What is your background in all? Where did all this knowledge come from?
Well,
for you to be able to articulate it so well.
Well, the knowledge come out of my DNA. Because, when I told you that I'm a prodigy, there are many geniuses upon the earth, but there are few prodigies. Prodigies is somebody like Tesla. A prodigy is something like Leonardo da Vinci, Nostradamus, or the little girl that just graduated from college at 12 years old and she's going to work for NASA, like Hidden Figures. Right. Polymath, people who are well-versed in math, or the co-creators. Because on earth here, you cannot create anything with spells or spelling, cursive, or cursing. You know what I'm talking about? Affirmations, illusions. This is witchcraft. But they didn't want you in school to learn math. Because if you learn math, you're going to create that bridge. You're going to create the house. You're going to be an architect. You're going to be an engineer.
Right.
That's right. You're going to be an engineer. Right. You're going to be, you know what I'm talking about, well-versed in math. You're going to start an inventor, a creator. And they didn't want you to be a co-creator that God had planned for you. They wanted you to be robotic.
Right.
They wanted you to obey. They wanted to manipulate your growth and what you create or do not create here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So anybody can be a creator, but you have to be well versed in math. I said there's 3 books that anyone wants to excel here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
You need 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
You need the math book, because you need to learn math.
Right.
You need to learn the law, and I'm talking about the laws of God. That is where people have transgressed the natural laws of
The
God.
natural, right.
Natural laws that people transverse here that go against those natural orders.
Right.
And the 3rd book is the Bible, which goes all the way back up to, like I told you, Eden, or the motherland,
right,
or what they call Kemet, where the ancient aliens came to the earth. You can see their hieroglyphics written on the belly of the ships. And when you go into the Bible, which has been whitewashed many times,
right.
it's been added to and taken from. And God says what was going to happen to those who added to it and those who took away from the truth in the book.
Okay.
But it is not to be read literally. It is to be interpreted spiritually. You have to let your spirit be the guide.
Indeed.
Not your eyes. Because the eyes, like I told you guys, can look at a seedless grape, a seedless watermelon, a seedless apple, and believe that it's eating a real apple, a real grape,
right,
or a real orange.
Right. It's sort of like, multiple people can look at one event, like a car crash, but they all have a different perspective of what they saw.
Well, do you know why?
Yes,
because when you saw the movie Lucy, it's telling you about the brain.
Right.
Now, I'm ambidextrous, so I use the full spectrum of the brain. Ambidextrous means that I have the same strength in both hands.
Yes.
So when you go see a doctor, the doctor is going to test you to see if you're right-handed or if you're left-handed, or you can use both hands at the same way. So
time, right.
The doctor says when you're ambidextrous and you're a boxer, you can knock out your opponent with either hand and they won't see the blow coming. But most people are right-handed or they're left-handed, and that's it.
Right.
And this, like, picture a movie screen, and the right-handed person only sees from the right up to the middle of the screen, no further than that. The left-handed one sees from the middle to the left. But the ambidextrous person sees the whole movie screen, see the big picture.
Wow.
And this is why when a car accident happens or something, a robbery or killing, they have to always interview 7 people if they're on the scene, because each one of them is going to give a missing clue that no one else had seen. And then the third party will come and tell you something that nobody has ever seen, and it's mind-boggling.
Wow.
But the people who are asking you, these investigators or police or whoever, they are well versed in the knowledge that I'm explaining to you guys right now. This is why people have different perceptions.
Right. Right.
Of the event.
Right. Indeed. Indeed. So we have to go back to the Matrix, because a lot of my friends have, questions. And
oh yes.
Those questions are, well, how did the Wachowskis get the script in?
They get the script in the book, because you can't make that many movies out from one script. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen.
Right.
A script is a shooting script, and you possibly might be able to get squeeze 2 movies out of that. But a movie is only a fraction. All it is you getting your camera and going out there filming a source work.
Right.
You didn't have to create the source work. You just need some source work to film.
Right.
Because Andy and Larry Wachowski are filmmakers. They're not writers. They're not creators. They've never written a book, and they've never written a script, actually. because there's no books, no scripts with their names ever, no copyrights with their names or scripts or trademarks.
Right.
You can go into the Library of Congress, you can go to the trademark, the USPTO, and it'll validate it. So they have never written anything. So I don't know how anyone could have been deceived that they wrote The Matrix and Terminator. Now that blows my mind because they've never written anything. Where I have copyrights 81, 83, and 84. And like I told you, a movie is only a fraction out of a book. A movie is no more than 1 hour and 36 minutes, no more than 2 hours and 15 minutes out of a book.
Right, right.
So how can you not get 20 movies out of a book?
Right.
Especially if the book is 286 pages. If the book is 100 pages.
Yes.
If the book is 99 pages.
This is about 261 pages. Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Now, Sophia Stewart, if you can
Wait
help
a minute, I want to say one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
What
Go
I
ahead.
created was not just the book.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the logos, I created those logos. The 1 and the 0 is the binary codes of the machine. You couldn't get that from those sushi recipe. If anybody thought they got it from a sushi recipe, you have to be retarded. The word matrix is a generic.
Right.
What I copyrighted was the Matrix. Matrix itself is a generic, like cola. You can't copyright cola.
Right.
But you can copyright Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, RC Cola, or Shasta Cola. You see what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you can't copyright the word matrix. They were trying to copyright the word matrix, and the Library of Congress told them that is not going to happen.
Okay, so
you can't. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. So
ahead.
when you see the graphics and the
Right.
characters and the special effects and the dialogue in the red and the blue peel, I'll be back. In the Terminator, naked without shame, wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed. Those are from my book. Stargate.
And yes, ma'am. Can you
Wait a minute. Stargate. Stargate. X-File. Dark City. Total Recall. Selfless. That's right, Selfless, the movie. Transformers. Even the symbols where the machines are coming down from the light is in the book.
Yes.
The X-File logo in the book. The red and blue peel in the book. The Third Eye Matrix and Terminator book. Are you kidding me?
So you're saying so all of these movies are derivatives of this book, The Third Eye?
That's right.
Is that what you're saying, Sister Sophia?
Absolutely. In Predator.
Oh.
That's why you don't see any more of those movies, because they can only steal out of the book.
Right. And they can only go so far, right?
And they can only understand because I'm a prodigy. So a lot of the technology, a lot of the stuff I've written about, they can't even comprehend it. Can't even write it to articulate it, to put it on the screen. You can read something, but it's very difficult for a screenwriter, or you have to be a master writer, and you have to be really good. I've been writing since grade school.
Wow.
When I was 11 years old, like Venus and Serena playing tennis, and
Right.
Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods with golf when we were kids.
Well, that's what I want to get to, Sister Sophia. Your background is fascinating. I know it already. It's in here. It's in the mother of the Matrix.
Well, there's no mother of the Matrix. A reporter did a tagline,
right.
and we need to throw that in the garbage, because I told people, do not insult me with a tagline, because a tagline is what identify you with your music, like Jay-Z, Jigger. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Sean Carter is his name. Yes, Sean Carter is his name. Now, the girl, she penned that. The girl that wrote that book, I taught her how to write. Hallie Zulu. Yeah, now she used the reporter's tagline and put that on the book.
Okay.
But that is not who I am. I'm the creator and the owner. Like, you don't call the late Steve Jobs the father of Apple. You don't call Bill Gates the father of Microsoft. So I told people, show respect, because I am the creator and owner of the Matrix and Terminator film franchises,
Absolutely.
as well as the actual books and scripts.
And on here, Sister Sophia, we definitely want to honor you and show you that much respect.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but this is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
deal. Respect comes with truth.
Right.
When people speak the truth, that is respect.
Yes, ma'am.
When they use derogatory words and lie, that is what is disrespectful and not, what I'm talking about is going in the wrong direction.
Right.
So when I'm telling people that these people never wrote anything and that I own the copyrights to the derivatives are the movies. They didn't come before the mother. The baby that was kidnapped doesn't come before the mother. The
Right.
mother comes before the baby. You
So-
see what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
the movies are secondary. They're not primary. They didn't come first.
So
They
with
came
the-
from somewhere.
right.
And where did they come from? They came from the copyrighted script and book. And if the book and the copyrighted script and the copyrighted book didn't exist, they would not exist.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So a lot of people are not familiar with the background of this particular case in which you just touched on.
Yes, and there a lot of them are familiar with it, but it's 7 billion people on the earth.
Right.
Every day somebody's gonna wake up and hear my story and buy the books and want to know more every day because we have 7 billion people on earth.
Right.
Can you believe now this is 2022 and we have the greatest time of all times is a multitude of people here.
Yes, ma'am.
But even though I've done 4,500 interviews and I've done mainstream, I've been on the cover of magazines,
Yes.
newspaper, radio, television. And we're talking about BET. We're talking about ABC. We're talking about where I went viral with ABC, Rolling Stone magazine, USA Today, Time magazine, Los Angeles Time. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
I can
ma'am.
go on and on and on.
Trey, can you pull
Vibe,
up some of those
Source,
pictures I sent you
Black Enterprise.
and show them?
It's not on this laptop, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, what was the pictures?
Of what you sent me of you being on the cover of those magazines. That
Yeah,
you had
L3
mentioned.
magazine, a London magazine.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I've done quite a lot of and they hide it. I'm gonna tell you, when you go on YouTube, you'll see a lot of people's stuff, but that's only just a small little tiny bit
Right.
of what I've done. I've been interviewing nonstop since 2001. There you go.
Yep.
That's a London magazine that I was on the cover of.
Yes, ma'am.
You know,
Indeed.
I've done MTV. I've done Hot 97 with Miss Jones, WBLS with Paul Mooney, the late Paul Mooney and Ellen twice. BET, can you remember Essence, Vibe, Source? You know, all of those, Black Enterprises. I mean, can you imagine the mainstream, look, the Armstrong Williams show, Judge Joe Brown show. It's just gonna amaze you guys what they're hiding.
Wow.
If you hide everything, and then I've done the Oscars where all the media knows me. I did my first red carpet in 2006 with Lawrence Fishburne, Sylvester Stallone, the late Dennis Hopper. Come on now. If I
Yes.
did the red carpet, that's when I was first
Let me pull up the
introduced
picture.
to mainstream media. The media got to know me and meet me in 2006 on the red carpet. And you know, with let people see that at the Oscars, the red carpet, all the media people knew me. Some of them took pictures with me after they interviewed me. All of them knew who Sophia Stewart. It is the common people who don't know or never heard the story that's waking up. And they feel like since they don't know about this story, they feel like nobody knows.
Right.
That's
right.
not true.
So, Sister Sophia, we want to get some questions. We have a lot of questions to ask you.
Yes,
And
please.
Let's chime on in. How old were you when you passed the New York State Board of Regents examination?
I don't even know because I wasn't keeping track of that. All I was keeping track of was that I was taking it, and it's very, very important and very extensive the Regents.
Yes.
And not many people can pass those Regents. I'm gonna just put it like that. I'm gonna tell you what was going on during that
I did some research
period. A lot of people would pay people to go in there and pretend to be them and take the Regents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you like it is, because there was no ID until the 80s when Reagan brought it in. We were in the neighborhood buying beer and cigarettes and taking it home to our parents and going to bars and going to clubs and everything, because it was a different era and a different particular time. And everybody knows this who came out of the 80s, like Jay-Z, Diddy, Snoop Dogg, all of these guys, the late DMX, all of it, because we were there when hip hop was born.
Indeed. Okay.
So you don't keep track of, I never even thought about it. You don't keep track of how old you were. You just remember what you accomplished and what you did, because I went straight into the college, and you know I had to have passed it because I'm evidence.
Yes.
Who can beat several law firms, and one law firm have over 100 attorneys in it, and be in the courtroom, and this is a federal court, which federal procedures are very hard for even regular lawyers to go in there. And I won 2 default judgments.
Yes.
Which is unheard of, because most lawyers are actually told to settle out their cases, because it's the most hardest thing to win is a default judgment. One of my brothers, his name is Don Mizell. He's a Harvard lawyer, and the Harvard lawyers are the top of the line lawyers. Of any kind of lawyer. He used to work for Disney. He used to be an executive at Disney, won a Grammys or some Grammys.
Okay.
And he said, oh my God, he says, you have accomplished something that is amazing. To win 2 default judgments and to get 2 federal judges recused off the case is amazing.
Right.
Plus, I got almost $500,000 in attorney fees and $3.5 billion in liens, where Judge Joe Brown said the liens were good as gold. I own their companies and their properties. I'm like a bank, the lien holder of their properties and houses, homes, and businesses.
Okay. Well,
all you have to do, let me tell you, to put liens on someone, it is a federal crime to lien up anyone unless they owe you money. But it was validated in the federal courts by 3 CPAs, certified public accountants, expert witnesses, $25,000 each. That's $75,000 worth of witnesses.
Right.
That they owed me $4.7 billion.
Okay. So I didn't want to ask you about the money.
No, it's fine. You can ask about the money.
Okay. Well, because you brought it up, there was a lawsuit. Is that correct?
Yeah, look, it was 2 lawsuits. No, 3.
2 lawsuits.
No, 3 lawsuits. Let me go over that, because
yes, ma'am, please.
They talk about, even on the reviews and on Amazon, you go to Amazon.com. I have 3 of my books there, but I've written 4 books on Matrix and Terminator.
4 books?
All 4 of the books, 3 of the books are physical. The 3rd one is just an ebook only. And if you haven't got that one, I can send it to you, no problem. But the
absolutely, we need that one.
The Matrix trivia book.
Okay.
And it's an ebook only. I haven't had it, physically put in. It's published now, but it's not put in a physical book.
Right.
But like I was saying, when you look at the reviews, all they're talking about is the first California case that I filed myself, because the government have discriminated against me as a woman.
Yes.
As a person.
We see that. Absolutely.
And they owe me tons of money. And my work was counterfeited. It was a criminal act. Counterfeiting. They counterfeited my work just like Lil Nas X did with Nike. He knew that Nike was this billion-dollar company. He knew that Nikes had been out forever and had all this fan base.
Right.
But that didn't stop him from counterfeiting Nike and putting out the company Mischief. And look at the name of the company, Mischief.
Mischief.
Who's Mischief? Mischievous, but the devil.
Mischief.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Mischief.
Yes.
Yeah. The
I know that.
executives, they go and
I
they
know you're
sell
talking about.
666,000 copies of
Right.
a blood-written shoe, and changed and altered Nike.
Right.
And Nike came after them immediately. Once the money comes out, Nike came after them. But the government has to put them in jail for counterfeiting. The government has to come with a RICO case, because if the government doesn't come and arrest Little Nas and Mischief executives, they are doing a disservice to you guys, because now it tells anybody they can counterfeit your work if they don't do mines. It is counterfeiting. We pay the government money so our work will not be counterfeited. See, I had copyrights.
Yes.
My copyrights were not protected, so the government discriminated against me. The judges in the courts discriminated against me. I had to file a RICO in California to put them in jail. The late Johnny Cochran, he came and wanted to do my case. He called for my case.
Right.
But he died before he could do my case. Now, he serviced Snoop Dogg and Diddy and a whole lot of others. He brought them justice.
And you added that information in the third eye.
Oh, yes. Because it's true.
All of your court documents are in the book.
Yeah, for people to read, but they won't read them. They don't want to deal with the truth. I had to file a RICO. Yes. I had the copyrights are there.
Right.
I had to file a RICO case. And you can see that I'm from the Bronx, the boogie down in Manhattan, because it's right there in the book.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So they knew my identity.
Right.
They knew where I lived. They investigated me before they stole and adapted my work to the screen. Now, why me being a citizen, I'm being an attorney, I know that you can do citizen's arrest. So I filed this RICO case in California in 2003, but I talked to Judge Hatter Jr. He had a son who was an attorney. They hired his son to get the judge recused off the case. The late Johnny Cochran and another guy told me that Hatter would bend over backwards to make sure that I got justice. So they wasn't going to let Hatter stay on that case.
Right.
But the case didn't officially start until 2004, and it was over in 2005. It wasn't even in there a year before they sent 4 law firms to sabotage me to keep them from going to jail. They made sure that these 4 law firms did not enter the evidence in. If you don't enter the evidence in, they have to dismiss the case. And they're lying on the internet, trying to make me look bad, like I was scared to come to court. If you got 4 law firms representing you, you don't have to go to anybody don't have to go to court unless a judge, court order, or demand that they see you.
Right. Yeah, we still haven't seen Donald Trump in court, so that says something.
Well, he doesn't have to go unless a judge. Listen, he doesn't have to go unless a judge, court order, or demand his presence. Absolutely. So they were trying to malign me, like I messed up my own court case by not showing up. That is the most ignorant thing that anybody can say, and most trolling thing on the internet. But anyway, I took it to Utah because the FBI told me the most racist judges and lawyers were in California, and that I would never get justice there, and take it to Utah. I come from a military law enforcement family, so I'm well versed in the military. I worked for the government twice as a teenager, growing up in New York. I've been on bases and stayed on bases because my families are military and law enforcement. Some of them, when they left the military, they went into law enforcement, and some of them was already in law enforcement, and and so forth. Right. So I know a great deal about law enforcement. I know a great deal about law, and I know a great deal about the military and the government. I'm a prodigy, and I'm an indigo. Yes. So I know a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So Homeland Security, when they read the Matrix 4 book that y'all are reading, and y'all look at page 77 onwards, they called me up, they read the book, and they said, when they called me, it was people with me, and they said, you solved the Roswell incident. And I was like, I did what? They said, you solved the Roswell incident. Now, the Roswell incident happened before I was even born.
Right.
So it was blowing my mind. How could I have saw something that existed before I even existed in physical form on the earth? And they went on to say, well, we read your book and we had captured these aliens, you know, the UFO ships, these alien ships with the Egyptian hieroglyphics on the belly of them. They had captured them. The aliens died, but they did not know how the ship flew until they read the Matrix 4 book. They didn't know how the ships, those UFOs was flying.
Right.
They didn't know how they actually was not detected by the machines.
Right.
And they didn't know how they could be seen in two places at the same time, and how they were able to defy gravity instantly and shoot off. Well, I explained all of that, but I didn't know that they had these ships until they sent to me the Pentagon classified information proving that they were telling the truth.
So
because I told them I was the creator of those ships. I knew how they flew. I knew how they were undetected by the machines. Because if you read in my book, I am talking about real technology. I am talking about the magnetic ring pulsion and the reversal of gravity. How under the belly of these ships is these rings, like Ezekiel was talking about in the Bible, where Ezekiel says,
wheel.
A wheel within a wheel within a wheel. Well, Ezekiel was talking about these rings that were pulsating with life. They were pulsating, maybe 3 or 4 rings under the UFOs. And this guy who had built, this quarry over in Florida. I've forgotten his name now. You guys might remember him. He had read some ancient Egyptian books. And this was back in the 30s or the 40s. He had no pulley and no rope because these stones were like in the tons that you see over in the motherland Eden, or what you call Kemet, or what you call ancient Egypt. They were not moved by any male slaves and all this crap. I don't know why they told that lie in fantasy. There is no man upon the earth that can move those stones.
Right.
Are you crazy? Are you retarded? When you go over there and you look at it, then you say they are the biggest liars ever.
Yes.
But so if you don't see that, wait a minute. If you do not see that, there's no way in the world you could call them a lie, because you think of the fantasy that they're creating on television when they're doing a documentary and they're trying to prove that's how it happened. That's crap. That guy learned how to reverse gravity and make those stones float like balloons, and then reverse the gravity when he put them back into place, when he moved the quarry from one spot to another spot.
It sounds like you're speaking of magnetism, Sister Sophia.
It is magnetism. Magnetism, and it's what we call a magnet, but it's magnetism. They're on these grids, and they're called the ley lines, these grids, the longitude and the longitude and the latitude that are crisscrossing the earth. There's multiple crisscrosses. Well, on these grids is magnetism. Magnetism is chi. Chi is energy. Energy is life.
Chakras.
And the UFOs, they come through portals. They don't come around the earth. Is a ring.
Energy.
That's right. The radial belt of energy that protects the earth. So if a planet get close, it's going to blow up into thousands of pieces. If anything try to enter out of this physical realm called matter, and outside of that belt, radial belt, is antimatter. And it's just like the battery. The Ark of the Covenant is like the battery. Look at the Ark of the Covenant. It's a square like a battery. There's only one battery propelling the car. There's no two things going on. There is no duality, deception, duplicity, duping. That means bi means two, which is a lie. There's only one battery, and let's look at that battery. It has a positive charge, just like the Ark of the Covenant,
Right.
And it has a negative charge. And if you touch it the wrong way, it'll blow up.
It'll blow up. Yes.
It'll burn up. It'll burn your car down, you know.
Right.
But it shows you how energy flows on Earth. That when energy is flowing to the right, L-I-V-E, is live, living.
Yes.
And when it flows to the left, which is negative, it's E-V-I-L, evil. Well, look at the same word. It's an anagram.
Yeah.
When it's
Living
going
evil.
positive, it's L-I-V-E. But when it's going negative, it's E-V-I-L.
So, Sister Sophia, are you saying that we are reading the wrong way from left to right?
You're doing everything wrong because you've been taught duplicity, duping, deception, duality, dualism. All of that came from Descartes, the philosopher, where he's talking about which he's talking about deception, which is the lie.
Yes.
Like God says, there can only be one.
We won.
When you saw the Highlanders, all of that was trying to tell you when they would absorb their enemy's energy, or they would come and absorb the energy, because they were saying there could only be one. And God,
are you speaking about the Highlander, the movie? The Highlander?
Yes, the Highlander, the movie, the TV
one.
series, the Duncan MacLeod. These were black people, the Scottish people. They come from the land, you know, where Cortez, and then, you know, the Spaniards.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? The Portuguese, Portugals, right, and Spain.
Yes.
There can only be one. So Mary, Queen of Scots, she was black. The Irish people and the Welsh people, they're all black people, just like the black people over here. 3/4 of the earth are nothing but black people. And so they create all these labels to confuse and to separate and divide, which is the math that you use. When you use division, you're dividing. And that's right. And when you use subtraction, you're taking away. But God used multiplication because he's giving abundance. He's multiplying and giving you an abundance. Addition because he's adding. Addition because he's adding. But the negative math that goes against the positive math is like over here. It doesn't exist.
Right.
Only this exists. If you would take your mind and see the illusions and the lie of this, then your life would be going smooth here. Because it says, see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil, and there will be no evil.
Right. Amen.
But if you can imagine an evil,
right,
what a man thinketh and what a man speaks, because the tongue is unruly, it has no master. Out of thy mouth come thy blessings, and out of the same mouth come thy curses. Out of the mouth come life, and out of the mouth come death.
Wow, Sister Sophia, it sounds a lot like you're speaking about the real Trinity.
Of course I am. I'm telling you how this world and how this hierarchy and how the energy in the matrix, which they're calling metaverse, but we know it's the matrix in the matrix world. I've been talking about virtual reality, virtual companies, virtual skateboards, the large drones, the little small drones becoming big, unmanned cars, unmanned airplanes, unmanned trains. The drones will be controlling them. But the drones will get bigger when the satellites come into play, and they're getting ready to come into play, because the satellite has to control the energy of these drones.
Wow. You just dropped some bombs on us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because they're not going to tell you the knowledge, esoterical knowledge that I am speaking now.
Right.
They're not going to tell you this information. I'm sorry, but it's just this. I have to take out, I have to put in, can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. They're not going to tell you this information. I'm sorry to say, but it's just not going to happen.
Wow. We're happy that you're here.
I've been dropping knowledge all the time for people all the time, because you need to wake up. You need to know what's going on. The word neo is nothing but an anagram, Neoone.
One.
Neo means nothing. The one, John the Revelator is the only one that called Jesus the one. But he's Neo. JC, John Connor grows up to be Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. It is past, present, and future time travel. Where the machines,
slow down,
the Terminators, the machines in the future. Here's the Oracle's prophecy, and I'm the Oracle because I wrote myself in my work, just like Stephen King, just like Stan Lee and Spike Lee. We all copied off of Alfred Hitchcock, put ourselves in our work. The Oracle's prophecy that a baby is going to be born that's going to take out the machines in the future. And they know the woman in the past is destined to have this baby. Neo, the one, is Sarah Connor. So they have to time travel to the past to kill her. So the baby will not be born that's going to destroy them in the future.
So, Sister Fee, are you saying
that's what the war is all about?
Right.
With the rebels, Kyle Reese and the rebels coming to wake up Neo. Because if you look at the first Terminator, he's coming to terminate her and he lands naked without shame. Somebody tells him to go put on some clothes. Kyle Reese comes to save her. He's one of the rebels in the future. Yes. While he's trying to save her, he inadvertently falls in love with her and gets her pregnant. And now it's the Immaculate Conception because he has to leave and go back to the future from where he came from. He can't stay in the past.
All right, so question.
And so now she's pregnant. She was in love, but now this guy has disappeared. But she knows that this love was real because she's pregnant with the baby.
But there's no father.
What happened?
I said, but there's no father to help.
That's right, because the father has gone back but disappeared like he never existed.
So question. Did or is Kyle Reese John Connor's father?
You said what?
Is Kyle Reese John Connor's father?
Of course. Of course.
I thought so. I knew it.
Yeah, because it's past, present, and future time travel.
So that means Neo.
Yeah, because wait. When you see the second Terminator, he's this teenager, but he's dressed in the future unisex because I saw where the boys and girls would all have long hair. They would wear earrings, the guys, and it would be like unisex. You see what I'm talking about? And then the third Terminator, he's a man child, but he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know why the Terminator is trying to kill him. And then he's hidden out in the city, in the future, in the Matrix. And then when he reaches 30 years of age, it's time for him to grow up now and to fight the machines that he was born and created for. So the rebels come to him and they notify who he is. And they have to take him to the Oracle for the prophecy. They take him over to Morpheus so Morpheus can teach him how to fight the machines.
There it is, folks. You heard it first. Their Terminator is the beginning
of the epic story and that you read in the book. And it goes all the way back up to the Book of the Living, the Book of the Dead, which the Bible was created from, whitewashed. The Bible is the version is the whitewashed of that book, where you see the Pope bowing down to Isis, the mother, and the baby Horus, where the right eye of Horus and the left eye of Amun-Ra means the negative energy, which you call the evil or the devil or man, the beast, who enslaves his own kind with evil for the love of money.
So are you saying, Sister Sophia, that those who enslave other people are evil?
That's right. They're called the devil, because the devil is not anything with any horns. It's not got no cloven hoofs. It's not no entity. It is a form of energy that is being used and harnessed. And the more you lie, kill, steal, and blackmail, the darker your energy gets. And the more this energy, which is negative energy, which is what evil is, because it's going backwards. It's violating the very laws and nature of God. Because the laws is violating the natural order of things. That's all evil is. That's all what the devil is. It's a demonic word for the evil. Look at the word D is in David, or THE, the evil, that another man perpetrates on others for the love of money, and he's going in the wrong direction, which violates the laws of natural order.
And
Because
that's
you're
because
supposed to be
the
going,
chakra
you're supposed to be
alignment.
going positive.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
And people eat up this chi, which is called magnetism, because all these grids and people build these developments, they swarm in there, eat up all the energy, and they leave. And this is why they call them ghettos, but the ghettos were the real ghettos where the Jews were locked up with the Germans and with Hitler thing, and they were padlocked. And anybody that want to see the House of the Rothschilds in 1934 old black and white movie, it's right there. The truth is all around you.
Yes.
And what you choose to get and to perceive is left up to you, because you have free will. So you can dig for the truth, or you don't have to do anything. You can believe the lie and go to sleep, take the blue pill and go to sleep and just continue the lie, or you can take the red pill and see how deep the rabbit hole goes of truth.
Wow.
But you have free will, so it's left up to you. Whatever you want to do is left up to you. God don't have no problems with it. Man don't have any problems with it. This is what the angels, a third of them that fell to the earth, and this is what made them angry, because they were indestructible. They couldn't die. They had the knowledge of God, and they said, God, why did you give these monkeys free will? Because man was mating with animals. Anything that had a hole, a man stuck his Johnson in.
Wow.
Whether it was a snake, a cow, a pig, a sheep, a horse, a dog, a donkey.
Wow.
What can I tell you?
Are you saying
Look
that
at the bloodlines?
Are you saying
the negative bloodlines have only been here for 28,000 years, and those negative bloodlines come from animal mating and generational curses.
So are you saying, Sister Sophia, that there have been DNA splicing and mixing throughout the courses of time?
Yeah, man's been splicing. You go back to, like I said, look at the hieroglyphics on the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. And like I said, I pointed out Anubis, the god Anubis, the cat god Bast, B-A-S-T, Bast, or it might be pronounced different. But you can see the high priestess and how they sold stuff for money, and Akhenaten saying that there's only one God, and that they have to paint everything real, and they have to start doing everything that was real, and they had to look up to the one, and they would have to stop all this lying and recreating and selling a whole lot of lies, which they do right now. They sell nothing but lies.
Wow.
And programming. Matrix. Matrix, what they're calling metaverse. That's a joke. Metaverse is the old 60 terminology, old 50. And so where the hell is metaverse? Where did it come from?
Right. So, sister, are you saying
anywhere?
Are you saying you're not going to join
the Matrix?
You're not going to plug into the metaverse? Is that what you're saying?
The metaverse is nothing but the Matrix. I'm sorry. It even have the word M in it, because it's the Matrix, where I've been talking for years about the virtual coins. I was talking about Apple before Apple even existed. The Apple tablet, where it's going in the future, that everybody's going to have this 6x9 tablet, because in the future there will be no more bulky stuff, no more TVs and big screens and boom boxes and phones that are separate like we're using now. Everybody in the future is going to have this thin 6x9 thin tablet. It's a touch tablet that's going to be everything. When you touch it, it's going to be your television. It's going to be your movie theater. It's going to be your music.
Wow.
It's going to be your job, your college, your schools, everything. Everything will be one. That will be the only thing. This 6x9 thin tablet is the only thing, and it will have a virtual penal system, meaning there will be no more physical buildings. You will become your own judge, jury, and executioner if you do not obey the law. These white laser rings will be around your body and around your arms. And if you kill somebody, it activates the ring and it cuts your head off. You snatch a purse, activate the ring, cut your hand off, stop you from bleeding. Run from Homeland Security or SWAT, activate the ring and cut your legs off. In the new jobs I taught, this is for almost 11 years, almost 12 years, or 11 and a half years since 2010. It's all in that Matrix 4 book. I'm talking about the new jobs of the parole officer. The probation officer will be monitoring these screens via satellites. Where the satellites will just zoom in on you committing a crime, and they'll send a drone to come pick you up unexpectedly. The drone will open up like a giant claw, suck you in, sedate you on the way back to Homeland Security. They will have a gurney waiting because they want you sedated, because the millennials are well versed in technology, so they can tamper with the drones. But they're going to sedate you for that ride back, and the drone is going to bring you back, have a gurney, wheel you in, and they're going to put a chip the size of a pinhead in the delicate parts of your brain. Now you're low jacked.
Miss Sophia, real quick.
So wherever you go, they can zoom in on you. Your probation officer, your parole officer can check your every movement. When you go outside the house, the rings come back on. When you go inside, the ring comes off. All the rings come off. But if someone comes to visit you, the rings will come back on, because you are a threat to yourself and others.
Miss Sophia Stewart, a viewer wants to know what you were just speaking about. Is that our inevitable future, or is that something that is still to be determined?
Well, it hasn't happened yet. Facial recognition is coming. There will be no more passports, paper passport as you know it. They will have retinal scan. They will be able to scan facial recognition. Facebook is nothing but a database. That's why Zuckerberg and all of us paid billions of dollars, because they got all you guys' information. They know all your relatives. They got all your faces. They got all your places where you live, where you work, what schools. They have all the information, your emails, your phone number. It's a database.
Yes.
And this is the reason why they paid all this money for the database. Billions of dollars. So now when you go into the airport, and this is coming, they will do a scan on you. You don't have to have, because no more forgery, no more terrorists coming in, because they'll have your dental, they'll have your retinals, they'll have your fingerprints. You'll have your hands up, and they'll scan your fingerprints. They will scan your retinals. They will scan your face. They'll have all of that. And it will show any alterations. If a doctor gave you any surgery or anything, they'll have your medical records. Yes, so you won't be able to fake it with the passports. Not anymore. You know how they go and buy these fake passports and papers, and they stamp them and they look at you. No. The machines are going to be identifying you. That's why during COVID, the 2 years, they were taking pictures of you. They were scanning you when you went into any business, and wherever you went, they were doing facial recognition, because that's coming. I'm here just to prophesize what's coming that you need to get ready for. But it's all in Revelations. But how many people can interpret it Revelations?
Right.
Or tell you the truth about what's in Revelations?
Right.
Revelations is revealing the truth.
There's another question, Sister Sophia. Is this jab a continuation of the database?
Is what is?
The jab. We can't use the term word vacation shot.
Oh, well, that's a whole nother matter. Mm-hmm. And right now it's obsolete because it didn't work out.
and I read, it's the mRNA is a
well,
DNA.
This is the deal. Wars are created to make money. What you need to concentrate on now is what before you that they're talking about in Revelations when they say Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is really old terminology, ancient terminology for Russia and China.
Mm.
And that's what's coming into play. Man makes money off of wars. For 2 years, they lost economically, globally, trillions of dollars, quadrillions. Shutting the whole world down for 2 years, they had no idea what it was going to cost them.
Wow. Wow.
Quadrillions were lost.
Right.
And what they're trying to do, is make up for the loss. But this is how the law works. And they listen to me too. Don't think you guys are the only one listening and the people out there. They are listening to me also. A DJ told me the politicians are all listening to you. I'm blown away because he can look, whenever I did interviews on his radio station, he could see what areas were covering what I was talking about. Right. And they need to know this prophecy too. That's why they have never threatened me. They have never tried to harm me. I'm like Tesla. They need to know and understand that technology and what it all means for the big picture. Now, they got bits and pieces from here and there. They do remote reviewing. They got spectacular people with all kinds of multitudes of gifts. But they've got to have somebody to put the dots together.
Right.
So what I'm telling you is right now they're making money. Wars make
money
and generate wealth.
So
but it also backfires because this is how math works.
Right.
If you're using the negative math, division and subtraction, then you're separating and dividing. When you look at the matrix, that's quantum physics. That's right. Ancient sacred geometry that goes all the way up to Kemet, or Eden, or the motherland, where the ancient aliens landed there, and they brought technology. They brought the technology to advance civilizations on Earth. And this is why some was in the dark ages and why some was in the light of knowledge. Because of knowledge.
Is the light inside the machines similar or the same light that's in humans in your book?
Well, no, because the machines are innate.
Okay.
And this is listen very carefully.
Yes, ma'am.
A machine is about as good as its master or the creator. Let's call him the creator. We're gonna call him the master. If the creator is crazy, then the machine is crazy. If the creator is brilliant, then the machine is brilliant. If the creator is a mixture of both, genius and other things, then that's what the machine. The machine is no greater than the creator. It has no organism or no living organism can exist inside of metal. The metal will poison any organism. That's why when they fuse man with metal, they have to take the metal out because whoever came up with that idea wasn't very bright. I'm just telling the truth.
Right.
Because metal gives off chemicals, because metal is created through chemicals. The gun is about as good as you are because the gun is innate. The gun doesn't get up and talk. The gun doesn't get up and kill or save or go hunting. You do. You can pick the gun up and go hunting, or you can pick the gun up and do some killing or do some harm.
Right.
But it's you, not the gun. And what is your intention? What is your intent? That's why when they have cases, murder cases, they want to know what was the intent of that person's mind. Was it intentional? Was it premeditated? Was it, deliberate?
And
they need to know.
And we my son Trey and I, we had a podcast earlier in our show, and we spoke about the intentions and the motives, the predetermined, premeditated, acts of violence, of goodness.
Yes.
And between the good and the evil can't coexist at the same time.
Well, it doesn't. I mean,
Right.
what happens is, like I told you, it's a person going in either the right direction, which is positive,
Or the
or a
wrong.
person is going in the wrong direction, which is what negativity is or evil.
Right.
Reversing the energy, because there's only one energy in this earth, and it's good.
Right.
You know that there
Yes.
can only be one, and it's good.
Right.
So instead of people taking that good and progressing it into creating and building and uplifting and making people happy, because you have the choice to make something good or something evil with this energy.
Right.
But it's nothing but this energy. So when you take the energy and you go forward, that is the correct way to use it. But when you go in the reverse against the natural orders and laws of this earth, if you take fire and you use it to keep your house warm, to cook your food, to stay healthy with it,
Right.
it's wonderful. But if you take it and you start burning up buildings and burning up people and destroying food and destroying plants and insects and animals, well, you're using that same energy for negative. But it's not two fires.
Right.
There's only one fire. There's only one air. There's only these one humongous water. It's all one body. And you can use this air and poison it, or you can filter it and keep it healthy and clean to use. But whoever is doing the act is either evil or good.
Yes, ma'am.
Not the elements.
Right. Right.
Not the earth. The earth is a good thing.
Right.
The water is a good thing. But if I poison the water, that's what is negative.
Right. Right.
If I create a drone that helps people and heal people, that's a plus. But if I create a drone that's going out and killing people, like in RoboCop, and shooting people down,
Right. I remember
that's
that.
barbaric. That's being barbaric.
Absolutely.
Hey Pops, real quick, me and you had this discussion about nuclear energy, remember?
Right.
And I told you the perspective of people about nuclear is, well, the Hiroshima bombs, and that's the only frame of reference people have. But little do they know, nuclear energy could, essentially power the whole globe. And so it's like Miss Sophia has been saying, the
But throw the
innate
missile
don't
out the window,
the
just
innate
say
don't
Sophia.
have. Yes, ma'am. The innate don't have.
Throw that out too.
The
Bam
innate
is,
don't.
I'll tell you
Yes,
about
ma'am.
that later.
The
Yes.
innate don't have intent. The intent is given by the creator. So, for example, the androids in Dragon Ball Z, the Z fighters they didn't know where they were coming from, because there was no intent coming from them, because they're machines. They don't have a aura like me and you do. It's different.
Right.
They don't have any. They don't have any souls, and they keep
soulless.
lying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
people and saying that the machines are talking to each other. That's the old 1970 Colossus movie. Go look at the Colossus movie and read the plot. In the old 70 Colossus movie, the machines are talking to themselves. They get stuff from, like what we experienced with COVID-19 or whatever. That was nothing but outbreak and pandemic. If you looked at the old movies, outbreak and pandemic, and look at all the outbreak movies, then you just experienced that. You experienced the movie.
Right.
The movie came first, and they did the same identical stuff in the movies that they did in real life.
Yes.
So is art imitating life, or is life imitating art?
Well, it sounds like, Sister Sophia, that you are, some may say, or use a terminology, a psychic.
Well, no, I'm not a psychic.
Okay.
Let me just put it like this.
Yes, ma'am.
What if I told you that everything has already happened and all you're doing is catching up with the results? And I'm telling you, they lost. All the negativity, all the evil people, all the evil ones that are practicing evil witchcraft, this whatever they're doing, sodomizing and gonorrhea, Sodom and Gomorrah, all of this, they lost. They lost.
Because it really looks like now that they're trying to take women out of the equation.
Because they want to end civilization. They're here to kill out civilization. They're here to end life. They're not here to build or to create life. There's a faction that wants to destroy life. And you got to realize a lot of these people are mixed with animals. They're on animal levels, because you got to realize every hole that a man could stick into, whether it was a snake, because you remember reading in Eden where the reptilian was walking upright like a man before he crawled on his belly,
Right.
before he had sex with Eve, a woman. You know, Eve was just representing a woman.
Right.
And then when you pull Atom, you know, Atom out of the rib, or Eve out of the rib of Atom, that's cloning. They don't tell you that's cloning. And that's how you clone, because you get an egg and you take any DNA, whether it's dead DNA, you know, or from a horse, a dog, or animal or person, and you put it in an egg and you put it in a womb. The surrogate is going to have a replica of that DNA, but it's going to be seedless and soulless. It's just going to be a living amoeba. That's all, a living organism, but it's not going to be able to replicate. It's not going to have any babies.
Right.
And it's going to have a short term. If you go look at the polo player, the star polo player and his horses, he cloned 100 and some horses to cheat the polo players.
Right.
He had this one horse that was winning all of the polo matches.
Right.
He died, and he went and took his DNA to a scientist or a doctor. The doctor cloned. So there will be no dinosaurs, no more dinosaurs and any of those monsters that they're finding their DNA. Because guess what? There's no matrix, no womb to put them in. No womb, no dinosaur living womb, no female dinosaur womb to put that old DNA and egg in.
Wow. So is that the extinction of possibly?
It will stay extinct because there's no womb.
Okay.
The only thing that you can clone and replicate, it's called replication, because it can't duplicate or it can't have any babies.
Right.
Is something that has a womb. That's why we got the female dogs, female cows, female horses, female sheep. Without a female, there's no womb.
There's no womb. Right.
The end of life. And no man is going to ever have a baby. You can throw that out the window. There's no doctor that can create a womb. No estrogen that will go through that womb for 9 months or 36 weeks. No umbilical cord, called a feeding tube, to feed that baby in the womb for 9 months or 36 weeks. Right. No milk glands to feed the baby. Sorry, biggest lie ever told.
But it sounds like, so Sophia, that you're speaking about a certain population of people.
What do you mean? I'm speaking about a part of a population that's lying to themselves.
Right. And, you know, it really, I'm just going to put it out there. It sounds like you're talking about white men.
Talking about who?
White men.
White what?
Men, white men.
Oh, let me tell you this. The skin, it's all a lie. There are white people white skin, that are black and passing for white with blonde hair, blue eyes. But their DNA bloodline says they're black because black come out of them.
Right.
There are white people with dark skin that look like they're black, but they're not. Their DNA shows white DNA. So this skin, white and black skin, is nothing but a figment of imagination, nothing but a lie.
Okay.
You get the old book Sepia, Sepia. Sepia was around before Ebony and Jet.
Sepia.
Get Sepia, go and look it up in the archives, and it'll show you all this white skin that is passing, black people passing for white. And it was a woman, her name was Carol. She used to work for Lou Gossett Jr. when I was working for him in the 80s while I was at USC. Okay. She had silky blonde hair, blue eyes. And my half brothers and sisters, they got cousins from Louisiana that looks the same way. When we saw them as kids, they explained that they were not. White people, Argentinas, they look like they're white. They'll tell you in a New York minute, they'll curse you out if you call them white. They're not white. And I need to tell you this. People need to know there are a lot of people passing. This lady Carol told me she married a white guy that was really white, and she tried to pass, and her baby came out DNA black. And he tried to kill her or harm her because he thought she cheated on him. She had to tell him the truth.
Wow.
It's called white privilege. That is the problem we're having in America, because the real white people know they're white, so they don't got no problems with it.
Right.
It is the people who are the mutts that are passing that has the racist problem. And some of them are Ku Klux Klansmen, some of them are Aryans, some of them are Hell's Angels, but they're mutts. They're mutts. And they're angry because they're not white.
So can you
they got the white skin. Right. Yeah, they're fooling people who don't know about DNA. I'm telling you the truth. If you learn about DNA, then you will see how illusionary this whole world is. But it's called white privilege.
Right. Right.
Because when they come across the border, they're coming in for white privilege. They're trading for sex trafficking to be eaten. That's right, eaten, because there are people who eat flesh eaters that eat people, cannibalism, and it didn't come from over there from the motherland or eaten. The cannibals were already here, okay? And there's a host of sodomizing, gonorrhea, just a whole lot of things that are being traded for white privilege to come into this country called America, because 365,000 people would be missing and their relatives be looking for them. So you can't be kidnapping people within this country, America. So you have to go and bring in the untraceables.
The untraceables?
That's right, because everybody coming across the border is untraceable. Come on, there's no relatives looking for them. When they cross the border, they're untraceable. So you can eat them, you can sex traffic them, you can do cannibalism, you can do pedophilism, you can do whatever you do, blood drinking, whatever the hell you do, whatever vampires and mucus is cancer, and mucus is the common cold, the flu, COVID, because mucus being taken into and copyrighted and digitalized is nothing but mucus. When your bones are inflamed, mucus.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. I take my sea moss every day.
Whooping cough, pneumonia, cancer, AIDS, STDs, COVID, mucus. And what destroys mucus? Let me tell you what destroys mucus. The sun destroys mucus. It'll burn it up. Ginger destroys mucus phenomenally. Eating ginger every day, less than 4 grams, it will kill any mucus in the body.
Right.
Garlic destroys bacteria, poison in the body. Hot water, that's just like the sun. Keep you healthy, destroys cleans the colon out, cleans the colon tract. People say, I drink water with lemon, I drink water with this in it. That just destroys bacteria and make your bones skinny, make your legs skinny, your head, your neck. But that stomach looks pregnant because only hot water can clean out those intestinal tract, besides the colonic, where they stick a tube up your rectum and blow oxygen up there to clean out that large intestinal tract. But the heated water cleans the big one out and the little one out. Gets rid of old feces that have been sitting there for 10 or 12 years, bacteria, toxins, metal, tapeworms, everything, man, with its nasty self has eating. And go on YouTube, because there's some nasty eaters out there. I mean, some disgusting eaters. And don't go to that black internet, because you might can't come back. But it is some horrible sites on there.
Wow.
Another one, Sophia, if you don't know, is sea moss.
What happened?
Sea moss. It's another one
Oh yeah,
that gets
I
rid of
heard
mucus
sea
in the
moss
body.
was good, but I can't say anything about it. I heard it was good. I don't have nothing. All I know about is the tamarack, and I know for a fact that these roots were back in the time of Jesus with the frankincense and myrrh, and his name wasn't Jesus; he was Horus, and the mother name was Isis. But you know, it doesn't matter because everything has been given a new name.
No name.
From the beginning of time, these people have more games than The Price is Right. If you tell me the new name, I'll tell you the old name and the old game.
Right, right.
I can tell you where it came from.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
They tell more lies than The Price is Right.
Right, right. Well, Trey,
What
come
can
on,
I
man.
tell you?
Yes, man. Yes, man. You've been dropping jewels. Please, let's take this time out.
And throw that ma'am out. Y'all don't use that ma'am and madam. That
I
was born
apologize.
from the slave days. Let me educate everybody.
Yes.
Throw
yes,
that
do so.
ma'am and madam and miss and queen and czar and pharaoh and all the titles and princess and duchess and count. That was to give people status, to make them feel good and put you on a caste level. So whenever they did kidnap somebody, they told them, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. That is subservient. Throw that out. Got nothing to do with it. My name is Sophia. That's the only name that God hears in the heavens, and the vibrations are your name. And people want to call you anything but your name, even curse words, so they can lower your vibrations. Napoleon Bonaparte was trying to teach people this. He was this little old captain, and he added an E to his name, which changed the vibrations of his name. When people said his name, it lifted him from obscurity to become the emperor of the world. So you want people to call you by your name. Throw that sir out, throw that ma'am out, throw that miss and Mrs. and Ms. and all that. Throw them labels out because they're garbage, to keep people from calling and using your name. Because if your name is called, it's going to raise your vibrations to be heard in heaven. What's in a name? Like Shakespeare says, everything is a name. You're in your name. He said, a man may steal my purse, my money, and I wrote this in my quotes in my legal briefs. But my good name, you won't take and use it bad.
Yes.
I will fight you for my name because my name is who I am, and my principles who I stand for.
Right.
Absolutely.
So have people call you by your name. You got that name for a reason.
Right.
The name carries the vibrations and the energy of your destiny. What you came here to do.
Right.
Whether you leave here, you'll leave here. Your name will be known for either good or evil before you leave the earth. So a name is very important.
Yes. Yes.
Miss, I'm sorry.
Thank you for the correction.
Sister Sophia, are you coming out with any new projects? Is there anything we could
I'm
expect
coming out
from
with
you?
NFTs, and I'm going to come out with the Matrix 4 in animation, because since they did that documentary, now I have to show the real fourth installment in animation, and which is great.
So that means you'll be taking the script from this and making it into the animation. Wow. That's amazing.
Animation, like the Spider-Man done in animation and won Oscars. My work won 4 Oscars, and those Oscars belong to Sophia Stewart because it was stolen. Ask any attorney, they will tell you those are my 4 Oscars. That's why they never talk about it. That's why they never mentioned The Matrix won 4 Oscars, because they know Sophia Stewart, they belong to me, and my work won 4 Oscars. And it reached over, I made about upwards of $35 billion globally. It has 2 to 3 billion fans globally, just like Apple, just like Microsoft, like Samsung, all of them. They have global Nike, global Gucci, global recognition brands.
So, Sophia, are you saying here on TwoTreys podcast that the Matrix 4 Evolution of Consciousness will be in an animated
That's right. It will be animation. It will be an animation.
Oh.
And not only that, but I'm dropping some real NFTs and not no avatars. That's demon possession. Avatar. Avatar is demon possession. That's what James Cameron was trying to teach, because you can't use anybody's body, possess a body, and go over there and do evil to another person. That's demon possession. And people using the word avatar, all you talking about is demon possession. My avatar. All you talking about is doing demon possession. That you're going to possess somebody's body, and you're calling it an avatar because you're going to be using it to do something with it. And that ain't going to happen, because that's witchcraft, and possession is evil.
Wow, you heard it first. Right here.
Yeah, because Avatar was a video game that kids were playing, and they were coming out with a movie, and James Cameron, being the warlock, male warlock is witch, male witch. He went over there and took the name from those kids and those people, and they had to change their name to Airbender. And he stole from 12 people to create what he called Avatar, and it's nothing but Pocahontas, Disney's Pocahontas. I sent it to you guys.
Yes.
And the guy, 1985 comic book, Time Spirit, where the woman in all the poses, and the woman with the blue tail and the blue body, all of that is in this guy, Stephen J. Perry's work, which they killed him and dismembered him. So he had the greatest claim. But there was 12 different people that it got stolen from. And they paid those lawyers off to discredit those people.
Hold on, I'm
you
trying
haven't
to find
seen no Avatar since 2009. What the hell? Yeah, that's what is that? Almost 12 or 13 years.
Right.
Wow.
It doesn't take you 12 or 13 years to figure it out, and it didn't take you 19 years to figure out, or 20 years to figure out that they never wrote The Matrix nor The Terminator. Okay.
Is this
And
what
it's
you're speaking
interesting
of?
That's the one. That's it. Time Spirit.
Wow.
People get the 1985 comic book Time Spirit by Stephen J. Perry. And I helped one guy, his lawyer sabotaged him, and I helped him to get his Avatar copyrights. And I helped another guy get his Black Panther copyrights. And I'll send those over to you guys so you can take a look.
Please.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I can have
Absolutely.
anybody win a lawsuit. It's a piece of cake. Like the 3 lawsuits that I had was, like I told you, they dismissed the first one in California because the lawyers sabotaged me and they wouldn't put in the evidence. But I got them all in the Utah court case, which I won September the 25th, 2014. Then I had a third court case in Nevada where they're hiding it, that I won $55 billion. And yeah, they put a fake case number and a fake judge's name on the case that was never even on the case when I filed in December the 11th, 2018. I filed the lawsuit and won it March the 5th, 2019. And they won't tell you in Utah. They try to sabotage me there. By the grace of God, God has been helping me. I won September the 25th, 2014, got 2 federal judge recused off, won 2 default judgment. One of the racist judges that I called the Grandmaster Ku Klux Klansman, because he was a Klansman, he would not give me the $150 million. He wrote on the default judgment that he'll give me the money later. So it was racial discrimination. My case was the oldest case in Utah because it went on for 7 years, because they death threatened my attorneys that was working on the case the first 3 to 4 years. And then they turned around my attorneys and sold out on me. Then I had to go in and win the lawsuit myself.
You mean you fought yourself?
Yeah, I fought the 7 law firms. Warner Brothers and their defendants, all of them entered in because they needed those attorney fees, and they were going to use them against me to steal the copyrights or take the copyrights if I couldn't pay the money.
Right.
But God wasn't going to allow that, because God is the one that gave me the Matrix and Terminator, his message to put upon the world.
Yes.
So he wasn't going to let that happen at all.
Not at all. Wow.
And I'm going to continue his work, more Matrix, more Terminator.
So that was my next question. That was my next question. Is the Matrix over, or is it going to continue?
No. Look, is Apple over? Is
Nope.
Gucci over?
Wow.
Is Samsung over? Is
Nope.
Nike over?
That's good news. That's good news.
You heard it first.
Come on, are you kidding me?
The Matrix will continue.
Listen, what it's over for is the liars and the thieves. That's what it's over for. The lie is over.
So like
the
the battle,
thievery is over.
so like the
But
battle
I'm being the creator.
right.
My work continues.
So like the battle between good and evil still is going to exist. And what after that? I mean, is it always going to be a battle?
No.
Evil?
Listen, people will always come telling me instead of asking me, well, what did you go through? I said, I didn't go through anything. When you have truth on your hand, the other people are going through it because they're trying to stay out of jail. But like all crooks, all they're doing is paying to stay out of jail. But eventually they got to go, just like Al Capone, just like John Gotti, just like Bertie Madoff, that who passed away recently in the prison system. He got 150 years, but he was stealing for 20 or 30 years. Come on, you guys.
Right.
Just like Whitey Bulger. He was on the run for 20 or 30 years, and then he got caught, and then he went to prison, and he died there. Jeffrey Epstein. Look, people don't look at that. They don't go back and look at what happens to all these well-known criminals that have been stealing, lying, killing, stealing, and doing a lot of wicked stuff, drug peddling and all kinds of stuff, and prostitution and sex trafficking and sodomizing and everything else.
So are you saying, Sophia,
and blood drinking?
So are you saying that the Wachowskis who put out this latest nonsense
documentary, which is garbage,
are they not going to receive the same justice, or are they?
Oh, they're going to get their justice. Listen.
Okay.
They're going to get their justice whether you see it or hear about it or know about it. Is irrelevant. It is not dependent on you knowing. It is not dependent on, when I say you, the universal you, not you personally. I'm talking to the people now. Whenever I'm using the word you, it's not you and your son I'm talking to. I'm talking to the people because this is public speaking. It's not dependent on you. What they did is karma on themselves, and they go through the justice and through God's system of the violations. And when it's time for them to meet that justice, they will meet it, whether you see it, hear it, or know it or not. Got nothing to do with you. Has everything to do with them and what they did.
What they did.
Some people escape it,
right?
And it's not going to go away. That I assure you.
And some may call that karma.
Well, I call it karma also because you reap what you sow, you get what you give.
Right.
The more you give, the more you receive. That's why the corporations and the banks give away millions and millions of dollars, because it's making them rich. But when you hoard and you don't give, well, then you don't receive, because each man that give to himself. And the more he gives, the more he gives to himself, because it's like a cycle. You're following the law of circulation, and everything you put out comes back in a circle back to you. So the more you give, the more wealthy you're going to become. The more you steal, the more it's going to be deducted from you. See, these people price gouging and raising up food and raising up gas and rents and all that. I told them, all you're doing is harming yourself. You can't keep the money because you didn't earn it. You stole it. It is steadily being deducted from you. It's making you poor. If you give equal prices or fair prices for what you're doing, you reap. But when you sit up there and hog it and dog it and think that you're going to get over, you're not going to get over. You'll see what's going to happen to these people. You're getting ready to see the repercussions, because a lot of them are putting themselves out of business by stealing. You cannot steal from God, which is good. You cannot steal from the people, because the people will be giving back the money that was stolen from them, and the stores and the own the buildings and the rent and all the gas people. They're going to get poorer and poorer. They're going to be put out of business, and new entities and new companies are going to come with fair prices.
Thus the words from God, I make all things new.
That's right. Because you're putting yourself out of business. You cannot steal. You cannot steal from God. You can't steal from the people. Stealing, price gouging is a law, not a law that man created, but a law that man has created from knowing the knowledge and truth of God.
Yes.
All them laws in the penal systems, they're all based on the ancient knowledge of God. Man, but he's adulterated it and put it in his image. But a lot of these laws, whether he's operating or not, God's law still sets precedence over everything man lies and creates.
Indeed.
You better believe it.
Indeed. No, I believe you.
Sister Sophia Stewart, I'm excited for the animation you have coming out. I just want to let you know my favorite new character that I've been introduced since reading the book has definitely had to be Samar.
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness. So again, I'm just excited to see what you have upcoming with the movie, the animation, and any other projects that you may be having, coming out as well.
Do we have any questions in the chat?
I think we answered most of the ones.
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna have to leave because it's almost 7 o'clock. I've been here since 5.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Super, you guys, and I
absolutely
love you guys,
we appreciate you being on here, Sister Sophia. Absolutely.
I've been on here like 2 hours, and it's been phenomenal because since 5, it's almost 7 o'clock.
Yes,
so thank you guys for having me. I got one tomorrow interview with some people at 12 noon. Got to get ready for that. And thank you guys for having me. I'll be back like the Terminator.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you.
And get the books, people. Get the books and read the real 4th installment. Get Matrix 4. There it is. That's Matrix 4. Get Matrix 4 and don't be disappointed about that regurgitation.
Yes.
Matrix movie, resurrection, resuscitation, trying to resurrect something dead. And that should have stayed dead, what they put out, because that documentary, that was a horrible documentary.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Sister Sophia, I just want to say again, it was an honor to have you on the show. We're both very blessed to have you on here. We just hope that we made it as comfortable as we could for you, and that you've enjoyed yourself on here. And like you said, we would love it if you came back and be on the podcast again. So we'll definitely be in touch with you for sure about that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I will definitely come back when y'all read the 4th installment. I'll send it over to you guys as a gift.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
I'll send it as a gift. Y'all read it, and I'll be back.
Yes, man. We love you.
Love you guys
cherish
too.
You. Please, by all means, may Allah bless you and keep your family in health and good peace as well. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Sophia. Wow. That was amazing.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
yeah, for sure.
Happy birthday, son.
I got to meet a legend for my birthday, That's insane. Like I told you before we got on here, she's on par with like some of the geniuses she named off. The Steve Jobs, J.K. Rowling's, just the Teslas, just those people in human history that you gotta stop and say different, genius, yeah. That's and we just had her on the TwoTreys podcast. That's a blessing.
It's more than a blessing. It's there's no words to describe, who we were just encountering and who we just heard from. You know what I mean? Like we said in previous episodes talking about her, that this book and this are more than just a story. It's actually the future. And she is foretelling the future. Period. And what greater mind to listen to than the mind of a Black woman? I mean, outside of that, Minister Farrakhan, I put up there as well. And Sophia Stewart, creator and owner of the Matrix and Terminator franchise. You know what I mean? I'm ecstatic, man. I will never forget this day. I will never forget this moment, this time.
I'm still. I don't know if you know. I've just been nervous. I don't know if I played it cool or what. I don't know. But I've just been shaking my boots this whole time, yo.
Like, you know what I mean? We could just listen to her just speak. I mean, I had a list of questions. Like, I had a whole list of questions, but I didn't even want to even ask her because she was answering them.
As she went on, right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, she already knew what was on my mind because she was just speaking truth and giving us and volunteering information. As I told you before, you know, we had her on that, you know, son, please don't ask her about money. That's none of our business. You know what I'm saying? Like what she does with her money, or, you know, how much she, won from her lawsuit, that has nothing to do with, you know what I mean, the truth and what have you. But if she voluntarily, she did. She disclosed that information as well. You know what I mean? Billions of dollars. Is she a billionaire? I think so. Is she on the Fortune 500 or whatever that magazine is? I have never seen her. I never heard her on there. Have you?
I mean, I don't know how it works. I don't
know.
Because I like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the Mega Millions. I don't know if that's something like you, like, someone can, like, not, you know, let be known. Like, you don't have to be on there if you don't want to, you know?
Right.
Right. Because, you know, there's millions of people with, you know, tons of dollars, like, for example, like in the Middle East, where they trillionaires out there, but you will never hear about them.
Well,
some people remain anonymous. It just depends.
Yeah, they do. You know what I mean? But those who are in our community, we heard when Jay-Z became a billionaire. We heard when LeBron James became a billionaire. We heard when Rihanna became a billionaire. We heard when Kanye, you know what I mean? But they chose her specifically to not disclose that information. And maybe she didn't want to be on that, you know, list or whatever, but something's not right. And we know what it is. You know what I mean? She was just here. She just described and broke down all of the industry. She just did an industry shakedown. Shout outs to Bumpy Knuckles. Industry shakedown. You know what I mean? Where she just exposed all of the hypocrisy, the rituals, the devilishment, all of that, man. She just gave it to us right here. Right here.
And real quick, Pops, I just want to go ahead and say to the viewers out there, we appreciate you guys tuning into the show. I've been actually watching the viewer count as the show has been going on today.
And I can't see the chat, so you know.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to think I'm ignoring them.
we've had like the most tuned in at one time on today's show. I think we topped like 20 at one time being on. So I just want to take the time out to say appreciate all the viewers out there for tuning in. You guys left some comments as well. Unfortunately, I didn't want to, you know, interrupt the sister while she was speaking. So I just had the comments post under us. But yeah, this was definitely a great show. We had a lot of interaction from the viewers. We had a spectacular host.
Awesome.
Great topic. Nothing I can ask for my birthday, man. That's something else.
Yo. It was, you know, we didn't even have to really, you know, ask me questions, man. We just, you want to just get on and just speak? That's what
it is when you're in the room with the genius.
Yeah.
You just listen, right?
I mean, I really want people to really look up Indigo Children, okay? And you're not going to find her in the Indigo Children, you know, category, but you will see what an Indigo child is. And once you read who the definition, or what the definition is, then you can take that definition and you can really fit it to the description of the person, or fit it to the character of the person. And you can really, 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 really see that it goes together.
Absolutely. And before you continue, I just want to say for everyone that has been watching the show, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you guys have been enjoying it. Yes, sir.
Subscribe. You know what I mean? You know, I know that this is going to go far, and for son, I love you, man. And
Love you too, pops.
I wouldn't do this without you. I didn't want to do this without you. You know what I'm saying? As far as this podcast, you know what I mean? I didn't want to do it alone. Not that I didn't want to be alone, but I didn't want to do it all by myself. I wanted to share it. I wanted to we talked about it. You know what I mean? It was a mutual, understanding and a mutual agreement. You know what I mean?
Word.
It just made sense. Let's get on this public platform and show the world that a father who was not in his son's household for all of his life can still grow together and strong and do things together. You know what I mean? And
I think we hit that out of the park.
You know what I'm saying? And
we over-exemplified it.
You know what I mean? I'm not throwing nobody, no shade to anybody. I love, the fact of who helped bring you into this world. But there was forces, that was thrown between us. Between myself and you, myself and your brothers and your sisters, there was forces put between us to try to break us. You know what I'm saying? And in that process of trying to divide us, it actually brought us stronger together, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting emotional because I just love you, man. And I love your brothers, and I love you, Zaire, and Damon, and Treshay, and Aaliyah, and my grandsons, Caleb and Legend. I love my mother, Carol, my grandmother, Dorothy, my brothers, Troy and Tori. I love my nephews, you know what I mean? Nico. I'm shouting everybody out, Brandon, Chelsea, Lonnie, Morgan. I love everybody. Cousin Buff, what up, man? I see he was on there.
He's been in the chat. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I love y'all, man. I love everybody. I'm excited, man. As you see, you know what I mean. Let me just calm down for a second. We had Sophia Stewart on here, man.
Yes, sir. Word.
Yo, man.
It don't get much better than that, pops.
It will.
It will.
It will get better. You know what I'm saying? I'm just so excited of the opportunity and the time that she allowed us to have. 2 hours, man?
Word.
Wow, man. Wow.
Got a lot of information out of it. Like I said, I thought that was an amazing interview. The fact that she wants to come back and be on again, that's a blessing. So, I mean, what else can we ask for?
You know what I'm saying? I have now a new friend. Like, her and I communicate almost on the daily, man. And, leading up to the show, you know what I'm saying? And, I've been learning so much from her just by, her, man, I'm just, man, you got a birthday to celebrate, man. So
yeah, so let's go ahead and get out of here.
You know what I mean?
Well, I hope you guys are entertained out there.
I hope y'all.
Another.
I'm lost for words now. I don't even know what to say.
That has been another episode of yes, sir.
Take us home, man.
Another episode of TwoTreys podcast. We love you guys. Again, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please stay tuned.
I saw you in the chat. Salute, sis.
Word. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that in the future you guys will be able to see our future episodes.
Mosque number 24 is in the house. Richmond, Mosque 24. Assalamu alaikum, brothers, believers. Thank y'all for
I turned 24. That's crazy.
Ain't nothing by accident, son. No such things. We talked about that in the previous show.
All synchronicity, not coincidences.
We'll break all of the twos and the threes down, on another episode, man.
Guys.
I'm gonna read this again.
Like I said, I finished it earlier this week. But as soon as I finished, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You ever read something so hot? That's like hot on you, like
Yeah.
Like, like for me, it's like when I read rap bars, and I'm like, oh, he said this, and like a double entendre. That's
Right.
the whole book.
Right. And how she broke down, evil and live, and what I'm saying, it really stamped on my mind and my heart and my spirit that I'm in the right realm of thought. I'm in the right realm of people. You know what I'm saying? Because, in the Nation of Islam, in which I belong to, everything that she has said tonight is aligned with the teachings from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, now guided through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I just, everything that she was saying about everything that she had said, it came together.
Absolutely, Pops.
I just know I'm on the right path. That's all right.
Sir. I feel blessed. You feel blessed. I hope our viewers feel blessed after such an amazing interview and episode of our show. But with that, we're gonna be out of here, Pops. I'm gonna try again. I know last time we tried to play my track and we couldn't make it happen. I'm gonna see if we can do that tonight. Maybe I'm saying
right.
the good energies in our favor. Hopefully the track will play right for us. But
absolutely,
that brings us to the end of the show. Unfortunately, man, it was here and there. That was a great ride.
But, Matrix 4 is going to be an animated movie. What?
Word. The real one. How it's really supposed to be told.
No,
and she told it on here. Heard it here first.
Matrix don't stop at number 4. It goes on to 5. Wow. It goes on to, man. All right, man. Love you, son.
Pops.
Be safe.
Love you too.
Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Pops. Love you. All right.
Next episode.
To the viewers, I'll go ahead and get the track pulled up for y'all. But that has been our episode. Y'all have a great night.
Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love.
Oh, I will. Watch this. Don't make me put the pen to the pad. Slice your head off and paint blood on a slab. Don't get in the way of a third-eye ninja. A nice guy with bad boy triggers. 6 past the riches. All work, no wishes. Don't like disses. I like to hang witches. I'm Nipsey of the East. Nas of the South. King of the streets. Smart out my mouth. I'll hustle to a mill. Talk my way to a trillion. Don't look now, but Dr. Evil's in the building. To any enemy, your girl can suck my mini-me. Don't want war? Then you can kiss my pinky ring. World domination, I'm up for nomination. Turn the whole globe into one Afro nation. Don't love me now, you laughed at my pain. Prince Nicole, now all praise my name. If they really wanna win, they will. If they really wanna win, they will. If they really wanna win, they will. They will. They will. Don't love me now, you laughed at my pain. Prince Nicole, now y'all praise my name. So they killing all the black kings. I even got angels that want to see me get my wings, but y'all can't stop this. I walk with the prophets.
I've actually come here to satisfy my curiosity. I've passed the preliminaries like yourself and hope the lineup will give us the chance to compete. I'm foolish enough to think I could defeat you. I only wish to know if all the legends about you are true.
A prodigy with God-gifted conscience. Politicians, hating niggas, and nasty bitches. All plotting to It's the prince's life mission. To reign supreme is my only state of mind. Your world's ending, so it's about that time I knew since a youngin' that I was more than something. At the age of 4, I felt 400. I've conquered anger, hate, fear, and danger.